So
So
I want to still stay with the E. If somebody was mentioning they wanted us to go over the layers again, it's the E horizon, the A horizon, and the O horizon is what we're focused on. Correct?
yep.
I didn't miss one, right?
No, no.
Yeah.
Well, if unless you call a living mulch, like
Yeah.
what we call, that could be considered a layer. I mean, that creates microclimates with with the cover crops. So that
Well, we haven't got up to that layer yet.
right,
So mulch is coming.
yeah.
So
I recommend mulch.
yeah.
Absolutely to the top of it.
Oh, you have to have a mulch layer, but let's stick with the organic matter that we're putting into the A horizon, and we can use a super soil, but you would more recommend a compost that's
But
really has a
not
lot
pure.
of larger.
Yeah, but not pure compost. Like I would say, you want at least 50% something like core or even pit moss. That's another one that's available. Again, I'm not a big fan of peat, but you do what you want. A lot of super soils are peat. But I would definitely want, like, 30, 40, 50% really good biological compost that's chunky, but you also want another, again, diversity, diversity, diversity. You want something that, like core, that's going to drain, have some nutrient value. And again, peat moss has very little nutrition. Like, it's nothing. It's the old stuff. Now, I don't know about the guy that's pulling from a living bog, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, it's somebody wanted me to put up the image here
All
of
you got to do is search, just Google soil horizons.
oh, I've got it here. Believe me, I keep all this stuff in the background so that I can bring these things. It's like what's in the sand, for the components, but
There you go.
the basic layers. So in reality, is the R or the bedrock what we're calling the E horizon?
No, bedrock is bedrock.
Okay.
I don't know why they don't show an E horizon in this particular picture. A lot of them do, because it's basically where the groundwater travels, right? So the water sinks through all this soil profile, and either it goes to bedrock, but more often than not, it goes to groundwater. I mean, in the 1800s, everybody had just a hand dug well, because that's groundwater, right? You didn't have to go down thousands of feet or hundreds of feet to get to the water.
Mm-hmm.
So that E horizon is the groundwater level, and it's usually after the B.
Okay, so it's really in this this area down
Usually.
here.
Yeah, usually. But
Usually.
it could be a layer right above the bedrock,
Well,
right?
because it looks here like the sea layer here is got like rock and sand. It visually, in my eyes anyway, they're kind of showing more of a rock sand layer.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's kind of, this is old science.
1800s, yeah, yeah.
Old science, again, so you have to just take it. I mean, if you search horizons, you're going to see a lot of them. Typically, the page is full, and they're all going to show something different. But anyway, so the E represents, an alluvial layer. That's what the E stands for. A and B just mean A and B, and O stands for organic matter. And as you notice on that picture, the organic matter was very small. It's because that's nature, right? Nature just drops leaves, and those leaves and sticks and twigs get gobbled up by the biology and fed to the plant. So typically in a nature, your O is going to be very small. Now you move into the prairies that haven't been tilled or destroyed, and that friggin' O layer can be huge. It could be, feet deep. So, because every time the plants grow during the summer and then they fall over because of the snow, they're just getting slowly converted. They are pure O, they're pure organic matter. And so, that's why the central southwest was so fertile. I mean, there's pictures of guys on horseback in the 20s, and all you can see is their shoulder and their heads. That's how tall the prairie grasses were growing. That's why it was so capable of pulling water out of the air. Even though it was arid and dry, the tree, the actual little stalks of grass were harvesting water out of the friggin' atmosphere. And now you go in there and the humidity is like single digits. Back then it was probably double digits, but it was still very low. But because of that amount of plant growth, it was able to function very, very well. And then when we tilled it, it was super fertile for the first years until it hit dust bowl time.
Yeah. Well, because people don't understand that plants are actually breathing out of their stomata, and they're drawing that moisture in, because the moisture is in the air, and then it's being held there and re-released and then brought back in. It's a bloody cycle.
Dude, think of them as little magnets. Like, you should see some of the water harvesting techniques they're coming up with nowadays. They put like a small charge in these nets, and it literally pulls the humidity out. So those plants had little charges to them.